What's going on, everybody? This is Chris Classic dropping a couch vlog. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday morning. Yes, it is. It is currently 1:27 Central Time. I decided to do a review. Spent a lot of time with family today watching movies and talking about God. And speaking of that, nobody tells you today. Remember that God loves you, Christ loves you, and I love you as well. We talked about Ephesians chapter 5, verses 15 through 16. Also, First Lady in Church. She was the first one to speak about it. And it's about choosing between being wise and unwise because the days are evil. So it's a lot of craziness that's going on, and it's good to choose God over a lot of this stuff. So always remember that to be wise and not unwise is very important. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to take on podcasts where I talk about professional wrestling topics. Also subscribe to my company, C3 Ultimate Wrestling. It is my company. I do not care what these people do, how these people are stalking me, how these people are trying to find every nook and cranny to keep me down. I will continue to fight for my company. While I do that, make sure you guys get tickets for Enter the Limelight, which will be September 21st. It is our third show of the year. It is a tribute to our number one sponsor, Limelight Entertainment Studios. Shout out to David Green for sponsoring our events, doing videos, having a lot of products coming in. I can't wait to talk more about that. So get your tickets via Eventbrite or PayPal. So it's going to be dope. This is my SummerSlam 2024 review. Some good things, more good things, a couple things I didn't like, and then what things that are going to move forward. So I wanted to talk about that. So, um, show started with Jelly Roll, well, Triple H, and Jelly Roll performed. Now, I'm not familiar with Jelly Roll or his music, but he sounded pretty good. It sounded pretty dope. Going into it, we have Liv Morgan going against Rhea Ripley with Dominic on her side for the women's championship. I don't know what they call it, but we're going to call it the women's championship. This was the opener. Rhea Ripley looked like she came straight from a Gothic Victoria's Secret catalog, but it is what it is. Very good back and forth, especially with Liv not wanting to engage with Rhea Ripley at the beginning because of the bad blood between the two. Every time the camera went on Dominic or they showed Dominic, they booed him. Before that, I do like how they showed Rhea going through the curtains. I like stuff like that because that was the old school aesthetic of how they used to do pay per view, especially like with Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels. Um, it was a spot where Liv threw Rhea into the corner and Rhea's shoulder was out of place. Like it really looked like, you know, in cartoons where they like hit, like when Jerry would hit Tom with the mallet and then but the knot would like pile up. That's exactly how her shoulder looked. It looked pretty nasty. They worked that a little bit. Eventually, Rhea threw herself into the not the turnbuckle, the announce table, and popped it back into place. And then you even look at Liv Morgan saying like "oh f word." So they went at it a little bit. Rhea hit the riptide on Liv, and instead of pinning her, she picked up the chair to hit Liv in front of the referee. And Dominic was like, "No, don't do that." And people was like, "Oh my God, why would you do that?" He said, "Hey, you want to win? You want to win." Um, Eventually, Liv hit her with the Oblivion. Then Dominic threw the chair back in, distracted the ref, and then Liv hit Rhea with the Oblivion on the chair and won 1, 2, 3. Then eventually Dominic picked up Liv and kissed her, and the crowd went crazy. It was a decent match. It was a very good match. It was a very good match. It was a pay-per-view match. I would have polished up the end a little bit, especially with Rhea pinning. Should have pinned her after the riptide, and then I would have had possibly Liv kick out. But other than that, it was good. I know a lot of people be like, "Well, it was predictable that Dominic was going to turn on Liv," but I liked how they did it. I thought it was. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. Um, Next match was Braun Baker versus Sami Zayn for Zayn's Intercontinental title. This match was relatively short, like literally short. Like if you would have went to the bathroom, you probably would have missed half of it. Braun was dominant. Sammy got a few things in, but then Braun was being Braun, and within 5 minutes, Braun hit Sammy with 2 spears and was the new Intercontinental Champion. I was happy about this. I didn't think that this match needed to be longer than what that was. If the match was shorter, it would have been fine. Look, a lot of people are calling Sami Zayn like the ultimate underdog. And it's like, look, you cannot be an underdog having matches for 15 to 20 minutes all the time. Braun Breaker is the future. Braun Breaker has been very believable with how quick he is and how fast he is and how agile he is doing a Frankensteiner. Like, I've never seen somebody just walk up steps like that. Like, steps, turnbuckles, ropes. It's just crazy. Like, I've never seen somebody do things like that. So, the finisher was a spear. I prefer Braun Breaker's gorilla press into the power slam that he does, but I understand why he probably wouldn't do it as much. But I always thought that was impressive. Like when Goldberg did it, I thought it was impressive, and Braun Breaker, his is very impressive too. Next match is LA Knight versus Logan Paul, the hometown boy for the United States Championship. And boy, did they boo Logan. Now, a lot of people don't like Logan for what he does online and also a couple of controversies that he has done. I had to look up the one that people were talking about before this current one, and then now he was very vocal about the boxing and the Olympics and stuff like that. So a lot of people was booing him, and when he came out, people booed him more. So a lot of people liked that he was booed. But going into the match, LA Knight, he came in, he destroyed his Prime Truck's window, came out, and they had a good match. I thought the match was pretty good. Um, a lot of back and forth between the two. Logan's agility was pretty good. Like he did like he jumped on the top rope, but he spun while he did it and did a backflip, and the crowd went crazy. But they still was chanting, "You still suck, you still suck." Um, Near the end, he was going near his friends, and we knew what was going to go on. We knew somebody had the brass knuckles, and it wound up being Machine Gun Kelly, who walked him out to the ring. Um, when LA Knight tried to pick up Logan, Logan hit him with the nuts, and then he tried to go in and take him out with the nuts again. LA Knight ducked him with the BFT and won 1, 2, 3. Very good match. I did not like the part near the end with the nuts because I felt that LA should have sold it a little more. Like, this is an inanimate object. You know what I'm saying? It was like as soon as he hit the BFT, like he was just completely healed off of getting hit with the knuckles. I think they could have did something a little bit better than what they did. Excuse me looking because I'm looking at the match order because I didn't want to mess up the order. But Logan losing, I understand it. I think it would have been about time, even if this controversy didn't happen. I do think that it was time for LA Knight to have a title in WWE. I think that was his title, the main title. I know he's had the $1 million title in NXT, but I think that that was very good to go off of. Next match is Queen of the Ring winner Nia Jax versus the women's champion Bayley. This match was very good. The crowd was not into it as much as other matches. I think both of them played in their strengths. I think they both did great. Nia being a powerhouse and being a bully, Bayley being a ring technician, like, hey, I should be here, work on this and work on that, being a little quicker than Nia a couple times, and Nia being too strong for her. The crowd did start picking up eventually, like during the middle, especially like when Nia gave the annihilator to Bayley, and Bayley kicked out. That was unheard of. Bayley walking with Nia on her shoulder for the power bomb was pretty cool. Um, Nia being clumsy, like Bayley said, and the way they did it, it didn't make it seem like Nia was a comedy act. The way she would miss moves and jumps and stuff like that. I know people talk about my hole because that's what she was saying when she did a leg drop a couple years ago and she fell on her backside and she said, my hole. But still, they made it more of a serious thing because it's still a title match at the end of the day. It's still a title match. They teased Tiffany Stratton cashing in her Money in the Bank championship briefcase, and I thought she was. Bailey knocked her over, and then when Bailey tried to focus on Nia hit her with two power bombs and two annihilators, and we have a new women's champion. Like I said, I enjoyed the match. I am so happy that Nia Jax won. Um, in a convincing fashion. I think Bailey looked incredible. The crowd ate it up eventually. It did take them a while because the crowd was definitely a little dead at the beginning, but I think both of them played their role. Like I said, a lot of people talk about Nia Jax being clumsy, being unsafe, not caring about the business. This second run that she's had has showed that she really does care about it. It was a good match. It was a very good match. Next match is Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk with Seth freaking Rollins as a special guest referee. These three guys put on. All three of them did their role. With Drew antagonizing Seth Rollins when he beat up CM Punk. Like, hey, you want this to happen. You know you want this to happen. Let's do this together. Let me take him out. And then Seth being conflicted. Like, even when Drew grabbed the chair to take CM Punk out. And then at one point, Seth was going to allow him to do it. But then he took the chair. Like, the way the crowd was suspenseful was crazy to me because every time Seth would let something go and then he would let something go, it was good. He'd get in their face. Drew would push Seth and antagonize him and stuff. So it all worked. And even CM Punk's obsession with the AJ and Larry bracelet that Drew took from him. Like when he had Drew in the Anaconda Vice, and instead of keeping it on so Drew could tap out, he saw it and he took it. And then when him and Drew had a spat for it, Seth winds up putting it on his wrist and stuff to just hold it. And CM Punk becoming obsessed with the bracelet. Now, I get it and it's funny. We'll talk about it after it. There's a couple spots where Seth would get in the way, then he'd stop it, and by the time he tried to count for the pin, the person would kick out, and then Punk and him got physical when CM Punk went for the go to sleep to Drew, and he saw the bracelet on Seth's arms, and then he was like, "Hey, you need to. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing?" And Seth was like, "Hey, man, you need to win, or you're going to lose." Seth pushes him, and then CM Punk gives him the go to sleep. Then he gets the bracelet, puts the bracelet on him, and then Drew McIntyre kicks CM Punk in the nuts, gives him the Claymore, pins 1, 2, 3. Good match, good cinema. The only takeaway is just me on the wrestling side was just funny because the bracelet, like Punk, you said you wanted your pound of flesh and you could have had it, but it was the bracelet, and I understand because it has his wife. And it says his dog's name, but it's a bracelet, take out the guy or whatever. Like, he won't be long. At this point, the bracelet should be a championship. For CM Punk's bracelet, I can see a ladder match between Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk with the bracelet on at the top like a Money in the Bank briefcase. It'll be a TLB match, tables, ladders, and bracelets. His obsession with it was symbolic, and I do think that CM Punk did a great job with it. I think Drew did a great job with it, especially after pinning him and winning, and then putting it back on his arm and leaving. So you know that whatever they're doing, it is not the end. Some people didn't like that Drew won and Punk lost, but to me it makes sense. Punk is not a fresh guy. Drew has been wrestling, and Punk has been his thorn on his side. They've been a thorn on each side, but they've done a great job with what they're doing, and I love a rematch. Sometimes you see one and dones and be like, I don't want to see this again. I definitely want to see this. Heck, I want to see them wrestle 2 more times, if it's possible. Good match. Next match was Gunther versus the World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest. Now, we're already seeing that the Judgment Day is dissolving because of what Dominic did to Rhea Ripley, and then Damian asking Finn and jacking him up, "Where's Dominic? Did you know?" And then Finn was like, "No." But between these two big men and Gunther and Damian Priest was very good. I think It wasn't about big flashy moves. It was about strikes, chest, chops, kicks, roundhouse kicks, and a couple throws and things like that. But it felt so old school. It felt like a timeless match. And I've said this about Gunther and the way he does things is that it's very timeless. Like you can see him back in the day being a foreign heel, and then he's a current heel now, especially saying basically he came from privilege and stuff like that. And Damien came from the streets. Both of them did great. They left marks on each other. It was very good. I think the crowd getting behind Damien, it was well deserved. People like Damien and things like that, but it was very good. Um, like I said, near the end, Finn came in and was cheering on Damien. Gunther even like pushed him down. Finn. Finish came where Damien he hit the South of Heaven or whatever it's called, and it started getting weird because he like rolled Gunther to the ropes because Gunther didn't roll all the way to the ropes because what was about to happen. It just looked weird on why the person who wants to win the match, why would he roll somebody so close to the ropes? So as soon as he goes for the pin, Finn puts one, two, and then Finn puts Gunther's leg on the ropes, and then I was like, well, how are they going to recover from this? And then they show Damian Priest looking at the Titantron screen. That's something you rarely see in wrestling. You rarely see a wrestler looking at a replay to see what happened and what went wrong. So then he starts seething and starts yelling at Finn. Gunther puts him in the sleeper hold. Damien powers out, goes for the roll up. Gunther kicks out. Damien beelines for Finn Balor and starts choking him. And then Gunther gets Damien, power bombs him, puts him in the sleeper hold again, and Damien passes out. And now we have new world champion in Gunther. Congrats to Gunther. I think this was a great match. There's only a few takeaways that I did not like. Well, I'll say 3. The first one obviously was Damien rolling Gunther. Like Gunther was rolling already, but to have him like roll him like an extra inch for say to get ready for the spot, that was a little crazy to me. The replay. Now the replay and Damien looking at it, it was creative, but it low key was like breaking the fourth wall in professional wrestling of wrestlers looking at the Titantron, even referees looking at the Titantron to see something and whatever. Hopefully it's something that we don't see anymore. We don't need that because like if wrestlers are going to cheat or whatever, we don't need the wrestlers to challenge the play like in football or basketball. Just challenge the play and then we're looking at the Titantron. That's not something as far as sports entertainment is aesthetically pleasing. I don't think that's pleasing to have and to try to look at. So hopefully it was a one and done thing. For that situation it makes sense, but let's not try to have it continue like that. Another thing is Gunther has been making people tap out or pass out. I don't like all this passing out thing. Gunther put Finn in the sleeper hold Monday, and Finn passed out. And it's not like they're passing out quick. They're taking a while to actually pass out. It's okay for them to tap. Like, make it more legit instead of I'm just making them go to sleep. Or if he's going to make people go to sleep, have them pass out way quicker than what they're doing. Because if we're trying to compare it, see, this is the thing with sports and sports entertainment. With wrestling, you have to at least make it look more realistic. So they should be passing out quicker if they're not trying to tap out or whatever like that. But except that replaying and challenging a play, you don't want to do that kind of stuff. But other than that, Damien could have tapped. It would have been fine. Or you should have had Finn tapped on Monday. That way, it would have sold it a little bit better than Damien just passing out the way he did. But Gunther's the new champ. Shout out to him. I do love that the King and Queen of the Ring, they are new champions because you have Money in the Bank. You have other ways to challenge for championships. Now you make the King and Queen of the Ring tournament mean something a little more. You get what I'm saying? So shout out to Gunther. Shout out to Nia Jax. Main event time. Main event was Cody Rhodes defending his Universal Heavyweight Championship #1 belt of the world. Southside, the realest championship against the new tribal chief Solo Sokoa. They showed Cody, walking his dog, taking his dog for a walk, and seeing Arn Anderson wanting to pass him the Glock. It's a joke. Said, hey, I got some friends that'll help you and all of that. And, this was after Solo coming out first. So I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it after. Solo Sokoa versus Cody Rhodes. It started off so basic, especially for it to be a bloodline rules match. And then eventually, when Cody Rhodes, was taking over Solo, and he hit him with the crossroads. That's when Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga came in. And a lot of people was upset with Tonga Loa because he was supposed to take Cody to the turnbuckle. He wound up like missing it a little bit. So a lot of people are very critical on Tonga because that Money in the Bank, he was supposed to low blow Kevin Owens and he wound up missing it, and it like he punched him in the butt. So still, a lot of people are very critical on that. Now a lot of people think the reason why he's not wrestling much outside of the eye patch thing is because they're not impressed. So I don't know. So then eventually Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, they come out. They stop them. Cody Rhodes is about to hit Solo Sokoa with another crossroads. Jacob Fatu comes out of nowhere, hits a whisper in the wind, and then he also hits moonsault. Man, that's a great moonsault. Hey, pay them people back in Wisconsin, Jacob. But anyway, Jacob sets him up again because Cody kicks out, and he sets him up for a splash. After the splash, Jacob starts selling his leg like he's in pain. He's hurt. Couldn't walk or whatever like that. There's pictures of him with the moon boot on. I don't know how severe it is. Hopefully, it's not serious, especially being a tag champ at the time. After this, Cody and Solo, they go at it for a little longer. Solo tries to hit a small spike on Cody. Cody passes out, and then eventually Cody hits her with the Cody Cutter. Then all of a sudden, you hear the music, Roman Reigns is coming out. Roman Reigns comes out. It takes him like 10 minutes to get out because it's like a mile of entrance to go to the ring. So he's walking slow. People are going crazy. They're going crazy. They wanted Roman Reigns to come back. They was excited to see it because we want to see what's going to happen. Roman comes in. He charges up his fist. Superman punch to Solo Sokoa. Sets up for the spear. The ooh-ah. Hits Solo with it. Leaves. Looks at Cody the whole time. Cody's looking at him. Cody hits the crossroads but looks straight at Roman when he does it. 1, 2, 3. Solo Sokoa has lost to Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is still the Universal #1 champion of the world. This is my takeaways from it. Cause I talked to one of my homies, shout out to VJ. This match didn't need to be a Bloodline rules match. This match could have been standard. It was more standard than a Bloodline rules match. Like, we just had a Bloodline rules match at WrestleMania 40 a couple months ago. We literally just had one, and I felt like this wasn't even a Bloodline rules match. Like, everything that happened, that could have happened if you took the referee out. Like, to me, it wasn't... I understand it wasn't going to be as great. And a lot of people knew that Roman was going to show up. But calling it a Bloodline rules match was the indicator that he was going to show up. They should have made it just a standard match because people would have been like, how is Roman going to get involved if he is going to be involved? And doing that, excuse me, that would have been better. It just would have been just a standard match because for the most part, it was a standard match. Because if it was a Bloodline rules match, it should have been something a little different. Now, I do understand that Cody and Roman, they started off standard more than anything, and then a waterfall effect after that, but still. This could have been just a regular match, and then referee was out, then Roman showed up to help Cody. All in all, SummerSlam was a good PLE. I enjoyed it from start to finish. Some things I would have changed. I did feel like it was PLE show. It didn't feel like a regular TV show. I felt like a lot of people stepped up. A couple gripes. The setup. I did not like the setup of how SummerSlam looked. It reminded me of Royal Rumble a little bit with the long entranceway. But I do understand why it's like that. So more people could have seats. so you could sell more seats and stuff. It looked like it was easier for people to see everything. You know what I'm saying? But still, for it to be SummerSlam, one of the big four PLEs you have, I felt that it could have been a little bit better, could have been a little more pleasing to the eye. But I definitely understand. It wasn't a bad make or break thing for me, but that's what it was. A couple of the stuff I could have changed was the Damien thing. I kind of made Damien look a little bad. Um like I said, the Blonde Line Rules match, it should have just been a regular match. Um, it was some small stuff. Like I said, to me, it was good. It did feel like a great PLE, but I just would have really felt like the set could have been like a little bit better than what it was. But that's what I think. If I had to give it a grade, I'd probably give it a high. I'd give it an A minus. Like those things, they weren't that egregious to being like, you know what, I need to cut it off or whatever like that. I watched it from start to finish, so I did enjoy the show. But what do you guys think? Did you guys like it? Let me know. This is Chris Classic. Let's take it home.